Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandin Perna, your football host, and today I am happy to share with you that we may have evidence that could finally bring down Dan Snyder. The ultimate sin for this loser of an NFL owner will be a
Johnson rod.
Hey,
Wait, did Peter King just say Johnson rod?
Johnson rod.
Oh my God, he did. Which is not only just a great Seinfeld reference, but it sounds like one of the best named players from this year's draft. Pew. A video you definitely did not watch.
Bless you if that was a sneeze.
It was, and thank you, Mike. Today, though, I want to grease up that Johnson rod and get this NFL car firing on all cylinders as we dive into Dan Snyder's demise, ask how corny is Russell Wilson, and break down some other NFL news, including all of the wide receiver trades and trade rumors happening. Whew. Look, YouTube has told me the only way we can oust Dan Snyder is if more people subscribe to this YouTube channel. So, it's up to you. Today's episode is sponsored by manscaped.com/goodsports. Now, you may have noticed that I got a haircut recently and that my face went through some looks last month. But now that I look like a respectable gentleman again, I am feeling invigorated with a fresh cut and the perfect body cleansing kit thanks to Manscaped and their ultra premium collection. I did use the Lawnmower 4.0 to mow down my massive beard, and I'll be honest, the forest that overgrew in my pantaloons. But I'm also really enjoying Manscaped on every inch of my body with their aluminum-free deodorant, body wash, and 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. Besides a random bar of soap that I use for an area that I will not name, and a loofah, my shower looks like an ad for Manscaped. What I love about the shampoo and body wash is that it uses no synthetic chemicals, and they're infused with natural ingredients like coconut water and aloe vera to keep your skin and hair from drying out. So upgrade your shower routine with Manscaped. Toss out those mismatched soaps and chemical-ridden washes for a refined signature shower routine with my link below for 20% off your order. Manscaped.com/goodsports. Do it! The NFL's eldest statesman of running backs, the ageless wonder Frank Gore, is signing a one-day contract with the 49ers so he can retire. Now, Gore had ambitions of playing in the NFL with his son, but will miss that opportunity by 1, maybe 2 years, which is a great example of why people should have babies at even younger ages than 18, which is when Frank Gore had Frank Gore Jr. I will make it my mission to get Frank Gore's face into every textbook in America as an example for why 16-year-olds should have more babies. Now, Gore will finish his NFL career as the third all-time leading rusher behind the real Stat Padford, Emmitt Smith, and the true rushing leader, Walter Payton. Now, my favorite Gore stat was posted by Adam Schefter, who tweeted that the 5 running backs drafted before Gore only combined for about 123 more rushing yards than him. Now, Russell Wilson was trending again over the weekend for being corny or square. This was former NFL player Channing Crowder on his podcast, The Pivot, calling Wilson square, which prompted the tweet storm.
If Russell ain't had that bread, she ain't gonna be with him. Russell square. Russell square. Everybody has a type. You gonna leave Future and get with Russell Wilson? He's so goddamn square, and I love him on the field. He's a square.
My first thought was, if Ciara does divorce Russell Wilson and then rekindle her relationship with Future, we can call the event Back to the Future. Okay, Channing, now that Dangerous is my quarterback, I'm obligated to defend his corny ass. Would a square kill people? Huh, Channing? Well, according to this shirt, Russell Wilson kills people. And shirts don't lie. And I'd ask if that makes you pee your pants, your square-ass pants, Channing, but you did that for fun. Worst of all, Channing, this isn't even an original take. I remember when Ebony Magazine, yes, I have a subscription, wrote an article about Slim Thug saying the exact same shit you're recycling. Russell Wilson is very corny. Most of us are. And I think insinuating Ciara couldn't love someone who apparently treats her like a queen and is a very good father is insane.
He's so goddamn square, and I love him on the field. He's a square. He's a fucking square.
And it had the opposite effect, because now a bunch of women took to Twitter just to say how much they wanted to bang corny squares. In fact, I think you might have spelled corny wrong, because all I see here is horny.
Mr. Unlimited. Yeah, you gotta be unlimited. You gotta have a thought process of being unlimited. So when people ask you, what you're thinking about or what you want to do in life or where you want to go, you gotta be unlimited.
Just last week, Will Keys and I on the That's Good Broncos podcast called Russell Wilson the Carlton of the NFL. He is corny, but some of us embrace that and see it as a positive. I certainly do, and quite frankly, I always have. Since March 8th, 2022, I have always embraced Russell Wilson's corniness and never criticized it. I kind of just wish people would stop trying so hard to act cool, especially guys who have photos like this of themselves out there. Now, there's kind of a lot of wide receiver news happening right now. The Miami Dolphins traded DeVante Parker to the Patriots. Parker becomes the 5th wide receiver taken in the 2015 NFL Draft to join the Patriots. Parker, the highest pick there at 14 from that draft, will join Nelson Aguilar and Ty Montgomery, both taken in 2015 and are current Pats. The Pats also had Devin Smith and Philip Dorsett on the roster from that draft. That's 3 first-round receivers, which makes me think this will not work out. And I say that as someone who loved watching Parker rip off 1,200 yards back in 2019. I thought he was about to be a breakout star at the position after he torched Stephon Gilmore repeatedly during Gilmore's 2019 Defensive Player of the Year campaign. Bill Belichick probably thinks that's the player he's getting. If Tom Brady were still in New England, I'd be a little scared of this trade. But I'm not sure that Mac Jones is going to revive Parker's career. Mac feels a lot like Tua to me, but I am happy Parker is getting another chance. Another former Patriot might also be dealt soon. Apparently, NFL teams have been inquiring about trading for Texans receiver Brandin Cooks. Cooks has undisputedly been the Texans' best receiver since arriving in the year 2020. In fact, Cooks, in his 8 seasons, only has 2 years where he didn't break 1,000 receiving yards. His rookie year, where he only started 7 games, and Jared Goff year in 2019. Now, Cooks has always produced, and yet always seems to be a player on the trading block, and I really have no clue as to why. It might just be an issue with talented receivers named Brandon Marshall, Brandon Lloyd. They also bounced around the NFL a bit. Regardless, the Browns and the Cardinals seem like the 2 teams most interested in Cooks. Both make sense in terms of having a need for the position. Houston may move Cooks now as he's in the last year of his contract, meaning, they could grab some value for him before he leaves on his own free will. And it can be very dangerous anytime you free will.
Oh, wow!
The other trade rumor that just won't quit is receiver DK Metcalf, who can apparently be got for the right price. If Seattle trades Metcalf, then I will feel very bad for Drew Lock, who will play for his second organization who refuses to help him. I know Seattle is in rebuilding mode, even though they won't admit it, and even though I'm not sure they know how to do it. But moving a key piece who could help your QB of the future for years to come seems silly. But then again, maybe Channing Crowder pulls off his face mask and it's just Pete Carroll, who also thinks future is better than Russ. QB of the future, corny. Boom, nailed it. The Steelers and Ravens may be interested in DK. Lamar Jackson certainly is. DK would be a lot of fun to watch with Lamar, but it sort of seems like Seattle is shopping DK and that teams are actually pursuing Brandin Cooks. The two issues I see here are probably the asking price for DK Metcalf in Seattle and that the Texans now have a lot of picks and don't really need to acquire more and can keep Cooks for his final year to help Davis Mills develop. There are also guys out there like Will Fuller, Jarvis Landry, Julio Jones available in free agency, so teams wouldn't have to give up anything to acquire them, in addition to a solid receiving draft class coming up. Our big story is now. Washington Commanders team owner Dan Snyder may finally be done. He made the one mistake the NFL cannot forgive. No, not years of sexual harassment or forcing team cheerleaders to be escorts in Costa Rica. No, not selling Pentagon flag hats to profit off 9/11. No, not suing his own season ticket holders during a recession. No, not having the worst field and stadium in the NFL, one that nearly killed Jalen Hurts and Alex Smith and poured raw sewage on its fans.
That's sewage.
No, this scumbag did something far worse than hurting and dehumanizing people. He stole from the rich. Snyder may have stolen money from the rest of the 31 NFL owners by cooking the books. The greatest sin in a position of power, taking money from other men holding equal or greater power. Currently, Snyder is under investigation for workplace misconduct. Who is investigating him, you ask? Well, I wish it was Tom Hanks from Catch Me If You Can, because basically Snyder's been Leonardo DiCaprio avoiding any sort of punishment by eluding the law every chance he gets. But instead, it's Congress. Just the US Congress. And now Congress has received a tip that Washington was not sharing its full 40% of ticket revenue to the collective team pool. Dan Snyder said, "If there's a pool, I will piss in it." So this is actually interesting, and I learned something about NFL ticket sales. The home team, so in this case, Washington, essentially only keeps 60% of the ticket sales for home games. The remaining 40% goes into a league-wide visiting team fund, which then is divided among all the teams. I had no idea the NFL did this, but I think it makes sense in terms of helping teams that don't sell out all of their games. What Snyder is being accused of, though, is manipulating the Washington ticket sales so he did not have to share the full 40% with the other teams for the collective pool. Again, Snyder said, "If there's a pool, I'm gonna piss in it." Now, this is good news for Commanders fans, because if Congress finds Snyder did skim money from the other NFL owners, it will be very easy for the other 31 owners to remove his status as Commander team owner. Equally important, if Congress finds that due to Dan's accounting fraud, that he duped the US government out of tax money, he could be charged with a federal crime. While unlikely, that could result in jail time. Snyder said, "If it's a prison shower, I'm gonna piss in it."
Johnson Rod.
So the absolute best part of all of this is that Dan Snyder could lose command of his team less than a year after naming them the Commanders. Maybe karma does exist. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. Don't forget to check out my Best Named Players episode. I know it's silly, but I do love it. Please. Or watch some other crap I make. Who cares? What's life mean anyway? Why are we doing it?